What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Smith, and you're now listening to So What We Not Gonna Do, the original 90s voicemail podcast. Y'all, I have had an amazing week, and I could not wait to get back up on this mic and come talk to y'all, to give y'all the juice and the tea on how my week went, what went down, and what we talking about on today's episode. Y'all, I'm so excited. So my week started off winning. So I told you guys about when a couple of weeks ago when I had a brand new jacket. I will not mention the designer. If you're nosy enough, you can go on my Instagram and you can figure it out. But I had a designer jacket that I had just snipped the tab, the ticket off of, right? Listen, just snipped the tag off of the thing. Went out, was looking fly, did my little 1-2 tip through, you know what I'm saying? And afterwards, in true form, as I always do, we had a little photo shoot. So there's this business called Craig's. It's a really fancy restaurant nestled right there in the city of West Hollywood. Super famous. The stars go there, all this, that, and the other. Paparazzi outside of it, all that. Well, they have this really dope mural that it's kind of like a LA staple to take a picture in front of it, right? Well, this particular night, about 3 weeks ago now, they changed the mural. So now this iconic wall is looking totally different. Now, y'all know I was going to have to stop right there and take a picture. So I'll set it up. It's Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, 3 a.m. I'm looking fly in my white, okay? Background gonna look sickening right behind me. I get up in my little pose or whatever, leaning up against the wall. When I got off that wall, y'all, all my friends was looking, they had the drop mouth. The drop mouth. Y'all know that mouth. When that mouth fall, you see that bottom row of teeth. And that eye be kind of lifted a little bit higher than it was just a second ago when everything was chill. A couple of them had that look. So I'm looking like, what? Did the picture turn out? What's up? Y'all, they done informed me that why is my whole jacket painted up, y'all? Painted all. I'm talking about, my God. I was devastated. I was. Now, what I will say is the way that the jacket got me, it looked kind of artistic. It looked like I could have probably did that. But that ain't the point. Because at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning, I didn't plan to be leaning up against no wet paint, especially when there was no signs up. So, y'all know what I did next. You know I got up early, okay? Ain't no sleeping in. We getting up early because I need to talk to management, corporate. Somebody gonna have to hear from me because you gonna have to pay for this. We gotta figure out what we gonna do. That's basically, let me just be diplomatic. Let's figure out what we can do. So, long story short, I had been in emails with the manager. They have been very kind. Shout out to Craig's, good business practices. The owner ended up emailing me, and they were more than willing to replace the full price of the jacket. So they gave me a full replacement of the jacket. Now, they did want the jacket for insurance purposes, and due to some sentimental value around the jacket, I kind of struggled with that, but I ended up releasing the jacket. So that's how my week ended up starting out. Got that check, got the jacket replaced so I can get that back, and they treated me to drinks and steak dinner. And so shout out to Craig's in West Hollywood on Melrose for good business practices. On Thursday night, let's see, I kind of had a really chill day, did a lot of work from home most of the week. And then on Thursday night, I kind of wanted to go out. I did want to go out, actually. One of my friends, his name is Brandon Anthony, and he has a co-producer named Monty. They do an event on Thursdays in West Hollywood at a facility or a venue called Chapel of WeHo. They do an event called Classic. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's so much fun because they finally are a venue that is bringing us East Coast old school hip hop your Biggie, your Mary J. Blige, like all of that. I love that sound. So I wanted to go there because I just love that kind of music. Plus, I want to support my friends. And then also, one of my homeboys, Mike the Mayor, was hosting this particular week, and Alex said that he was gonna go. So I said, yeah, I wanna go. But that particular day, you guys, when I say life took me by my edges, now mind you, I'm bald. When I tell you that life dragged me to and fro on that Thursday, to the point when I got to my house, y'all, I had to take a nap. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now something I haven't really shared with you guys yet. I don't really like naps. I feel like I have wasted my day. I could have been working. I've always been that way. But this day, oh yes, trust me, I laid my tail down. And so I wanted to get up that night and go out, and I would have normally left home probably about 11:30 or so, but I overslept. So there I was, catching my Z's, minding my business. And at 12:19 in the morning, I'm getting a ring, okay? So, first of all, I'm dazed and confused because when I laid down, it was like 6 something. Y'all know how it is when you've been asleep and you wake up or something wake you up. You don't know what time it is, what day it is, if you late for work, y'all, all that. So, it was my mama calling, Diva Z. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about bringing your parents into the technology age. Because I want my mama to be fresh and up to date. We got my mama an iPhone. We got my mama, she able to FaceTime now. She mastering Facebook. She posting, going live and everything now. She getting the hang of Instagram. She DMing me back and finally finding our inbox messages. She's on her way. But then you get into things like this. So there I was in dreamland, probably on dream number 4.5. My mom calls me talking about, hey, how do you take the flash off of our phones? Now, mind you, I can hear that she's out having a good time. We had a cousin that was in town for her birthday. I could hear them, so I can hear she's probably mid-picture. So I said, Mom, okay, so for starters, I walked her through how to do it. And then I kindly guided her to a source that will never let her down. Google. Okay? Mom, go to Google. No, anytime my mom, I got her. So after that, she was my wake-up call. I got up, y'all. And when I tell you, I stepped in that closet. I had went and got my hair cut earlier today, so I was feeling Thursday fly. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I stepped out of it. Baby boy had it going on. Compliments was flowing. And I appreciate all that, but I felt good within myself. I went out on Thursday night, went to go to Classic, got to chill with Alex, got to go support Mike the Mayor, Brandon Anthony, and Monty. Had such a good time. And then, here I am, coming on back home on the 405. What happens? I'm driving there listening to my good old calm down music. After you're on the highway late, I don't need all that bibbity boppity bop. I need some Kelly Price. I need some wind down, okay? So there I am listening to my wind down music, and all I hear is plinkety plink, 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 plink. Like that, right? Then the alert comes on in my car that says, tire deflated, check such and such. I'm like, okay. So I pull over. Like right away. I was right by an exit where I can get off on the highway. I got off, I got some air. So I put air in one tire and I get back on the road, and then the another one comes on. And so long story short, my tire literally, I was on the highway. My tire literally blew out on the highway. So thank God it wasn't to the point where the car was swerving or anything like that. I had turned down the music, so I already kind of had my ear to try to see if it sounded different. And sure enough, I pulled over. And the tire, I didn't know this at the time until the tow truck guy came in and told me. But basically, I needed a wheel alignment. And so what's going on is the metal in the rim is rubbing up against the rubber, which is caused it to shred. It sucked, especially happening at 3 a.m. and then you have to wait an hour and something for the tow truck. But let me tell y'all what happened in the interim while I was waiting on the tow truck. See, this whole, the community police relations, they're just in such a sour place. And here's the thing. I worked at a police department for a decade. I was a dispatcher for 10 years for 2 cities. I was at the top point of that position, okay? So I know the police world very, very well. And when I say very well, I mean exactly what I'm saying. So I'm there waiting on the tow truck and I see the police come and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I don't need help, but this is cool. Finally, somebody's coming to check on me, right? Had a whole hour wait for the tow truck. I am kind of on the side of the highway. Police services could be needed. They come flashing the light into my passenger side window asking me, so how long you been here? And did you hit anything? And those questions just began to downward spiral all the way to me going from needing assistance to being a suspect. Do you know that the police officer actually pulled me out of the car and made me do a sobriety test? I've never done a sobriety test before. I'm literally a few decades old. I've never done that before. And so he's asking me like, do you know where you are? Yes, I'm on the 405, 1 mile north of the Skirball exit. Like, what's up? Like, I'm answering everything and I'm kind of like, I don't want to cause alarm. I am offended, but you know how these situations can go, right? So he asked me for my license and I'm reaching into my bag for my license and he's shining the light in my bag. Now, that wasn't something I was inviting you to do. So I stopped and I just looked at him like, yo, what are you doing? And so he's like, I gave that look. He was like, is everything okay? I said, I'm good. I'm just trying to find my license. I said, but as you already know, the public's relations with police is not in the best state. I said, so what you're doing, the shining of that light, I said, it is causing me to take a little bit of alarm for sure. And so we got past that. They ended up letting me go, thankfully. They realized that the kid wasn't drunk. But it's crazy just how things can downward spiral like that so easily. We've already lost so many, to senseless police violence, but I ended up making it home in time, fine. It was late, but it was cool. I got home on Friday, had a whole day to kind of handle some things to myself. I bought myself a rest day, but ended up having to go get the tire fixed. So, of course, that was a long day of doing all of that. So, had a good day there. Then Sunday, you guys. Sunday was amazing. Just got to meet up with the guys for brunch, you guys. We have such great conversations. We went over to Sal's on Melrose. The thing I love about Sal's is because, for one, the food is bomb. It's not overly priced either. Like, you can have $15 and pretty much get food-wise, whatever's on the menu. They have great mimosa specials for $15, bottomless for 3 hours, a cap time, or $17 for flavored. It's just a good vibe. The sun at that time of day is shining on that side of the city, so you're on the patio, you just look so well lit, and so it's just a LA moment. It's vibey, and I love me a vibe. So we did that, and then we went over and just walked the town. We just walked and stopped at a couple of bars, just enjoyed each other, had some great mature conversation and building each other up. So I had an amazing, amazing week. I hope y'all did too. But listen, enough of my week. Let's get into one of these news headlines that I done stumbled across. Y'all ain't gonna believe what I done found. So last week, this heartbreaking story went viral regarding this 9-year-old girl named Trinity Love Jones. Trinity Love Jones was found on a hiking trail in Hacienda Heights in California, murdered and stuffed inside of a black duffel bag with her body halfway leaning out. She was last seen, according to the press release, wearing pink clothing. So now we had to figure out the whole identity of who is Jane Doe, this beautiful black girl who was murdered by someone and then doggishly stuffed midway into a black duffel bag and then left on a trail for workers to find her. Who is she? So that was on March 5th. On March 8th, the police ended up making it actually, they made the notice that it was actually a crime. They were investigating what was going on as far as it being a murder. That was released. A couple of days later, her stepfather or her mom's boyfriend ended up doing a press release. And I mean was boo-hooing about how it had just been confirmed that that was their daughter, that was the deceased, etc., etc. So now we find out that old boy Emil Hunt, on March 12th, the police arrested him. He's the boyfriend of the mother. Her name is Tequesta Graham. He was arrested first and charged with Trinity's, the daughter's, murder. He now faces a maximum sentence of 50 years to life behind bars if he is convicted, and we know that he is going to be convicted. But let's get into the mother, okay? Tequesta Graham. First of all, what is a Tequesta? But I digress. Tequesta Graham, 28 years old, right? She is now, she got brought to, she was in Texas. She got extradited to Los Angeles on an unrelated warrant. I do not know what that crime was, but it was enough for her to be shipped here. So once she got here, the police start asking her questions about her daughter's death. And through their investigation and concluding, they're finding that she too played a role in the death of your daughter. How could that happen? What has to happen to a mother that would allow a man, or whatever the plot or plan was? I don't know who started the plan or not. How could you allow this situation to happen to your child, yo? That right there, I don't quite understand that. But you know what? When you get into her background and his background, it's a little more clear on how this could happen. So she is a registered sex offender. And in 2009, she was convicted of a crime. Y'all guess what it was? Enticing a minor female for prostitution. Now, the boyfriend, he also has a prior child abuse conviction from 2005. They arrested him on March 9th at the San Diego airport. First of all, where was you trying to go? The story is just all over the place. And the sad part is, baby girl had to pay the price. You know what I mean? Like that part right there, it breaks your heart, man. It breaks your heart, man. But listen, with that being said, let's move on to something a little bit lighter. Let's get into our first music break. When these sisters stepped out of New York with their harmonies and high notes, we were definitely spellbound. Get into our first music break with SWV's Anything.
I like that, y'all. I like that, yeah, I like that, y'all. I like that, I like that, y'all. I like that, yeah, I like that, y'all. I like that, I like that, y'all. I like that, check it out, I like that, y'all. Check it out, check it out.
Anticipation of what's to come. I'm so happy that I'ma let you go. So long I waited, but it's never too late for love.
to shallin' out. If you meet a killer me on the MRC with the SWWNGD to the BD going downtown. Let me see if we all in together now. Make it move better now. Listen, I ain't sweating no competition. Low, going mad low like I'm fishing.
Another chapter from the Wu-Tang book. Take a look and repeat. Killer bees never sleep. Non-stop. Put you on the chopping block. Unorthodox. Add it to the melting pot.
I'll do anything, I'm so into you. Right here, I'm weak downtown with the weird. Kaboom! Guess who stepped in the room? The SSWW to the BD.
That's my song right there. Y'all ready to get into our first voicemail? Let's see who called me this week.
Hey, Smith.
Hey.
So, today, my first topic of conversation, emotional cheating versus physical cheating. Which one is worse? Let me know. I'm quite sure you're going to have something juicy and all the tea is still on this one. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Okay. So I knew this question was going to pop up at some point. So what our caller was asking is, what's worse? Emotional cheating or physical cheating? And I know everybody want to say or see all of the above, right? Because who really wants to give their heart to anybody, their time? Who wants to invest anything of them, of their value into something or someone, only to find out that that person doesn't feel quite the same, or that you weren't enough? So to me, in essence, cheating is... People cheat for multiple reasons, Sometimes it's about control because they just want to, control. Or either they're out of control, or they may have a sex addiction, or they just flat out nasty. That's pretty much most of the time what it is. So we're gonna address it from that level. We ain't going to that whole psychological sex therapy. We ain't doing that today. We talking about somebody that I done set up in your face and we done did 14 Valentines together. What's worse? You cheating on me emotionally or you cheating on me physically? For me, and this is fun because you gotta pick one. I could argue on both sides, but my real answer, how I really feel about that today. Now, mind you, I'm answering this as a single man. So don't be coming up under my comments talking about how you answering when you ain't dating right now. I'm adding that disclaimer in. Stand down. How I feel about that is emotionally, here's the thing. Every time you cheat, it isn't always an investment into that place. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm with somebody and, after a club, they get drunk or whatever, we're feuding, whatever the ridiculous excuse is, we can come up with all 50, 11 scenarios. But They cheat. They have sex after the club at the Marriott downtown on the 4th floor because they couldn't afford the penthouse. Okay, and so how do I feel about that versus who I'm with? You texting. You're placing your emotionals. See, you're putting to me, the emotion part, that's the worst. Because that little dip in and stick in and dip out and whip out, ain't no heart in that. Now, you keep going over there dipping and whipping and whipping and whopping, flipping and flopping, then yeah, the emotional part is gonna get in there. So that's why for me, when I see that your emotions have evaporated, your emotions have taken a journey outside of where they should be, which is over here, then now I know, at that point, I really feel like you've lost in a great way. Because I do not want to be in a battle with our physical relationship, our loving relationship, and what we're building, and you're still battling what's going on the inside of you. You have your emotions I can't control, is what I'm saying. I can't control how you feel about something or someone. But you waking up now, you sending good morning texts, you sending paying what? Cell phone? Your emotions is all tied up. You defending, you hiding, you got loyalties to, and all this, that, and the other. They're gone. They're gone. The person might be more recoverable if it's just physical sex. And I know that sounds probably crazy to some. I would love to know. The caller was saying that their office was having this chat. I would love to know what the office says. So y'all, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram in my DM, @SmithWorldwide, by the way, and let me know, what do y'all feel is worse, emotional cheating or physical cheating? Right? All right, cool. While y'all thinking about that, let's get into our next music break. I want to hear a little bit of music, jam a little bit. Here we go. Warren G's Regulate featuring Nate Dogg was the anthem of the summer in 1994, and it was on every stereo, every boombox, and I'm bringing it to your speakers on today. Get ready for our next music break. It's Warren G's Regulate.
Regulators. We regulate any stealing of his property. We're damn good, too. But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep.
Regulators, mount up. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets, trying to consume some skirts for the E, so I could get some phones. Rolling in my ride, chilling all alone.
Just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G. Seen a car full of girls, ain't no need to tweak. All of you search know what's up with 213.
So I hooked select on 21 and Lewis, some brothers shooting dice. So I said, let's do this. I jumped out the ride and said, what's up? Some brothers pulled some gas, so I said, I'm
since these girls peeping me, I'm gonna glide and swerve. These hookers looking so hard, they straight hit the curve. On to bigger, better things than some horny tricks. I see my homie and some suckers all in his mix.
I'm getting jacked, I'm breaking myself. I can't believe they taking Warren's wealth. They took my rings, they took my Rolex. I looked at the brother, said, damn, what's next?
They got my homie hemmed up and they all around. Can't none of them see him if they going straight down for pound. They wanna come up real quick before they start to clown. I best pull out my strap and lay them busters down.
They got guns to my head, I think I'm going down. I can't believe it's happening in my own town. If I had wings, I would fly, let me contemplate. I glance in the cut and I see my homie Nate.
16 in the clip and 1 in the hole. Nate Dogg is about to make some bodies turn cold. Now they dropping and yelling, it's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate. Explode. Now I'm switching my mind back into freak mode. If you won't skirt, sit back and observe. I just left a gang of those over there on the curb.
Now they got the freaks and that's a known fact. Before I got jacked, I was on the same track. Back up, cause it's on Nate and me, the woman to the G.
Just like I thought, they were in the same spot, in need of some desperate help. The Nate Dogg and the G-Child were in need of something else. One of them names was sexy as hell. I said, ooh, I like your size. She said my chords broke down and just sing real nice. Would you let me ride? I got a car full of girls and it's going real swell. The next stop is the East Side Motel.
Now, real quick, y'all, I had to get into this story this week. We have to talk about this whole college scandal situation starring actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin. So as the story goes, these two have been named and arrested and charged as of last Tuesday in a crime ring among 50 other people. Who we will find out, I'm sure, about who those are later, who allegedly paid monies or bribes to ensure that their children made it into the best colleges. Whoa. And when I say they was trying to get them into the best colleges, I'm talking about Yale, Standard, Georgetown, all that. Now, the particular man who was kind of like spearheading this ring of deceit, his name is Rick Singer. Allegedly, he made over $25 million over the last 7 years. $25 million over the last 7 years by helping celebrity parents and well-to-do families get their kids into these colleges. Now, how was he doing this? One way he was doing this was having someone else take the ACT test. You guys know the ACT test is that standardized test that is supposed to give an account to the colleges as to how smart you are and how deserving you are to come to their school. It's so judgy and it's such a marginalized test. But nevertheless, he was having someone take those tests for the kids. Another thing he was doing, he was having the test techs or the proctors at the test sites correcting the answers of the kids that he had got the coins for. Another thing he was doing was having parents lie and say that their kids had disabilities, learning disabilities, and that they had to take the test alone. And while they were taking the test alone, guess what else they was doing? Cheating down. The last thing he was having them do was he was paying college coaches, like sports coaches, to say that they were going to allow these kids to come to the school on a scholarship. For instance, Lori Loughlin's two daughters, they paid $500,000, y'all. Her and her husband, who is, by the way, Mossy Mo. He's the owner of fashion brand Mossy Mo, y'all, okay? And so they paid $500,000 for their two daughters to go to USC. And the way that their plan worked was they were put on the crew team. Now, that's the people who row, the competitive team where they row. They were given a scholarship or what have you. The coach was bribed, and they were placed on that team. They don't even row. And then they gonna Photoshop they faces, y'all. This is what Lori Loughlin did. She had her daughter's faces Photoshopped onto some crew members' bodies to give the image that that's what they was going to school for, y'all. Now, you're going to jail, okay? You're going to jail. On top of that, one of their daughters is a YouTube star, and she was on her YouTube. Of course, when all this surface, people start digging up your past. Won't them skeletons come falling out that closet when they get open, won't it? And so they found a video where, like, she was a senior in high school, and she was talking about how she was getting ready. She was excited. She was getting ready to go to college soon. And she was saying about how she hopes she has time for the sports and how she has her career. She's going to be traveling for work. And, I'm going to be going to New York. And, of course, that's work, too. And then there's something going on. And so I just hope that all of this can work out in my schedule. And I just hope I'm going to talk to my deans and see if they're willing to, because that's what's important to me right now. Like, here's the gag right here, y'all. She said, I don't really care about college. Wow. So you're meaning to tell me you see, this is why we gotta allow as parents, we have to stop living. Y'all got it, because I ain't got no kids. But parents have got to stop living their dreams vicariously through their children. See, Lori never went to college. Okay, she never went to college. So she had made it in her mind, my daughter, you're going to college. by all means necessary. And guess what, y'all? Now it's to the tune of 20 years because she is facing 20 years and I'm sure all kind of fines. And can you imagine who everybody that's going to jail? The coach, you going to jail. The proctor, you going to jail. Rick Singer, baby boy, bye. You're done. And you know what? To be honest with you, some of them kids gonna go down too. Because if they can prove that the kids was a part of it, you think the kids are gonna be charged less? It don't work like that. Coaches going to jail. It's all kinds of people about to get wrapped up in this. And this is one of them kind of crimes that it's gonna take a long time. They're gonna be talking about this for a very long time because they're gonna have to prosecute each person individually. It's not gonna be as a cluster. So I'll keep you in tune with what's going on with that. But here is just another time. It's another time when the rich get richer yet again. You know what I'm saying? So Julia Roberts definitely had something interesting to say about this whole scenario. She was over the UK over the weekend promoting her new movie that's coming out, Ben is Back. And she was asked what her thoughts were about it. And she basically said that she thinks it's sad because at the core of the whole situation, it's because the parents didn't have faith in their kids. That's deep right there. So y'all, let's move on. I'm ready to get into my next voicemail. I can't wait to see who called me.
Greetings, Smith. I do have a question for you. When building and doing things, how do you stay encouraged when you see people who have not done the work but get the accolade, knowing fully well that you've invested time into doing the work, but haven't fully received your accolades the way you feel like you should have received them yet?
Yeah.
Not trying to be a hater or nothing like that, but just staying encouraged to keep doing what you're doing, knowing your accolades will come because you're doing the work. When you see them, they're not necessarily doing the work, but they get all this love and support. What do you do? Let me know. Peace.
You know, that's a very interesting question. So just to make sure everybody heard, what the caller wants to know is, he wanted to ask me, how do I stay encouraged, or how can one stay encouraged when they're doing their thing? You're building, you're grinding, you're on your hustle, you're trying to be a good person, you know, you're helping people, you're smiling at strangers, and then you're looking around and you're not finding yourself quite in a stream of winning. But you're looking around at others who don't seem to be doing half of the things that you're doing, and yet they look like they're Olympic gold winners. So how do you stay encouraged? Not hating, he said, not jealous or anything like that, but how do you stay encouraged? So here's how I've actually been in that predicament before. I think we probably all have or will be to some degree, because we all kind of quantify what we think our return should be based on what we think we're investing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we think we're investing and what we think our return should be, these things are all so subjective and objective. And when it comes to the reward systems, which I have submitted myself to the life theory of reaping and sowing and reaping. I believe that principle, no matter what religious form you decide to subscribe to, or what theology or philosophical concept, most of those concepts have some sort of understanding that, bruh, what you put out there, whether that's good or bad, at some way, some shape or form, it's gonna return. And in planting that thing in the earth, it's probably going to return in more than you put it out. So how I deal with that is I realize I am an advocate for seasons and timing. One thing somebody said to me one time is, you don't want to ever arrive at a place too early and there's nobody waiting for you there, because you're ahead of your season. And at the same time, I don't want to arrive anywhere too late. I trust that my gift, that my hard work, that my purpose-driven life, that my divine path that I'm daily reascribing myself to will guide me to have a powerful and impactful collision with every single thing, person, place, moment, job, creative project, everything that belongs to me, I'm going to find it in due time. And so I can't look to the left and to the right to see who's winning and who's not winning. I can cheer you on, and I'll definitely do that. But I wasn't there when you were shooting in the gym. I don't know the seeds you sown. I just met you last year. I don't know what you did or what you have been sowing when you was back in your hometown before you came to Los Angeles, and now it's your reaping season. I don't know the nights you stayed up crying and praying and plotting while everybody was out playing spades and getting drunk and on booty calls and all that, and you was on your computer figuring your life out. I wasn't there. So for me to take on the stance of saying, oh, well, I looked around and they didn't seem deserving, that's a very braggadocious, it's a very prideful stance, it's a very entitled stance. And if you continue to live in that stance, it will usher you right into a place of jealousy. Creativity can't thrive in a jealous place. So then you're going to stunt your growth. So now you're sowing jealousy into your own destiny plan, which is going to stunt your growth. And so now you have stunted growth, and now you're back. You have a whole nother year where you back upset because you're not winning. So in my seasons of not winning, I rejoice with those who are, and I continue to plot and plan and make sure that while I'm in that season, that I make sure that I do what I want to be said that I did, which means staying focused, which means not sowing negativity and doubt into that season, because those things prolong us from getting where we're going. So stay encouraged. Your time is coming. I do know what that's like. I will tell you, it's easy to do. It's easy to look at your colleagues and say, wait a minute, hold up. I've done it before, been there before. But that particular, it knocks you off your mountaintop that you need to be on in order to see a fresher perspective. So, hey, stay encouraged. I'm sure you're on your way to greatness, sir. I'm sure. All right. Thanks for trusting me with that one. I have a friend. His name is Pierre. His Twitter handle is Prince Charming P, at Prince Charming P. He is a very funny character on Twitter. A lot of his tweets have gone viral, and that happened again this week. Now, Pierre is a screenwriter in LA. Super funny. He's also a rapper. He's also a host and an MC. So he's very talky. He's very opinionated about a lot of things. So this week, what he did was he done dug up a video from the 90s. And in this particular video, Maya Angelou is on stage being interviewed on the Sally Jessy Raphael show. Now, if y'all remember Sally Jessy Raphael back in the day, she one of them talk show hosts that used to go out into the audience and would take audience questions. I love those shows. So here she has a young woman who she appears to me to be probably about 16, 17 years old. She has a question for the Dr. Maya Angelou. And how about I just play it so y'all can hear how it all went down?
Kim, you had a question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Maya her views on interracial relationships.
Oh, thank you. And first, I'm Miss Angelou.
Ooh.
Miss Angelou?
Yes, ma'am.
She called her Maya.
I'm not Maya. I'm 62 years old. I have lived so long and tried so hard that a young woman like you or any other you have no license to come up to me and call me by my first name.
Excuse me.
That's first.
Meanwhile, Sally Jessy Raphael mouth dropping, she was gagging.
At the same time, I am your mother, I'm your auntie, I'm your teacher, I'm your professor. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So how y'all feel about that particular thing? You know, growing up, I mean, I didn't really grow up where we had to say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, and all that. I didn't grow up that way. So to those of you that were, kudos. But I did have some older, respected representatives in my life. We just weren't allowed to call them by their first name. Now, personally, I mean, maybe it was just my youth. I always thought that was silly. I mean, your name is Sarah. I mean, what? But I always respected that. So I'm very familiar with this whole notion of that. However, on Twitter, now this particular video, like I told you, it went viral. In only a matter of a few days, it got 2.61 1 million views, 17,384 retweets, and 55,870 likes. That's a whole lot of people. And what really caused the stir was, one was his caption. He's so funny. He had a caption that says, "I can't wait to turn 30 so I can read one of y'all for calling me by my first name like this." And then he plays the Maya video. Oops, sorry, Dr. Angelou, my bad. He plays the Dr. Angelou video. But what really made this go viral, and this story got picked up by digital outlet and media outlet Newsweek.com. They interviewed Pierre regarding, the tweet and how he felt about it and what have you. But what really was interesting was how many people really thought that Maya was wrong. They thought she was being rude and was, I thought that was interesting. I think it's because times have changed so much. You know what I mean? The respect level and honor levels, there isn't a lot of honor among our generations. There really isn't. It's just not. And so, to hear that type of rhetoric from someone, it's just not common. And so people actually really tried to really come for Dr. Maya Angelou this week. Rest her soul regarding that. So how do y'all feel regarding that whole respect thing? Like I said, the person asking this wonderful question in the audience on this TV show, maybe about 16, 17 years old, called her Maya. Maybe the name that Sally Jesse Raphael, her peer, had been calling her on that episode as well. I don't know. I didn't see the full episode. But how y'all feel about that? Do y'all feel like Maya went in too hard? Or do you feel like as a teacher, that's the time to give that lesson? So while y'all figuring that out, I'm about to see. I see that my voicemail light is blinking. We're going to get into our next voicemail in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Smith, this is Bea from Chicago, and I just wanted to ask, as I've been following you, your lifestyle and how you're living out your dreams, and I'm so inspired by that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to know what advice did you have for creatives who may be feeling like they've missed their spot, missed their chance? They're getting up in age, and they say if you don't start when you're young, you really don't have a chance to make it. So what would you give advice? Would you give creatives that are in their 30s or late 20s, or maybe even early 40s, and they really, really haven't lived out their dreams, but they are kind of feeling stuck and wanting to do something, and maybe they're thinking it's too late. Do you think it's too late? Do you think they should still go for it? Let us know what you think, because I really do believe you have something to say that we will all benefit from. Love you. Love your lifestyle. Love your creativity, and you are an inspiration to many, and thanks for all that you do.
Appreciate that. So, loaded question. So what this caller was asking was, what do you say to creatives who may feel stuck, who may feel like I've missed my window of opportunity? I'm in my late 20s, I'm in my 30s, maybe even my 40s. She was asking, do I suggest that they continue to seek that dream? Do I think it's too late? How do I feel about that? Well, for me, I will start with this. As I said earlier, answering another caller, I do believe and ascribe to timings and seasons. I definitely do. I think that for creatives, especially artists, we have a very unique call. We have a unique gift. It's often assigned to a time and to a persons, into a regions, into projects. It's assigned, it's scheduled a lot of times. We go on, we perform, we help, we minister, we encourage, we leave. You know what I'm saying? Another creative may be, it's timed a lot of times for creatives. And sometimes when we are not where we're supposed to be in the right season, we miss the people that are in that season that we were supposed to help because we weren't at the doorstep of that season when we should have been there. But the beautiful part about purpose is that it's forgivable. What I mean by that is God will make sure that, yes, you miss those people, but somebody else will get them because unfortunately we weren't on our spot, but he'll also give you a chance to be able to use your gift to redirect that lost time. So what I will say to you is this: to a creative who's dealing with that, as long as that dream is inside of there, as long as that spark is inside, I don't care if you're 50 or if you're 60 something years old, you can definitely be successful. You can still be a dreamer. There's a model. Her name is Della Orpheus, if I'm not mistaken. She is absolutely sickening. Gray hair, silver fox. She gets work like never before. There's also an older fashion designer named she's an old jewelry designer, a fashion maven. I think she was like a really big tycoon in fashion. Her name is Iris. They did a whole documentary on her on Netflix. Go check it out. She's known for wearing this big like gaudy jewelry and layering it in so many dope ways. She's of age. When I tell you she's of age, and is still living her dreams, still sickening, still getting picked up with deals by Netflix. Look up Baddie Winkle on Instagram. Grandmama is literally, she gotta be a cold 74. Gotta be. But she's still living her fashion dreams and living her best life. That's one of my favorite accounts, actually, by the way, on Instagram. It's so dope seeing somebody old living their best life. I get joy from that. So what I say to you is that no, it's never too late. Purpose is resilient. That's what I meant to say. Not necessarily forgivable. It's resilient. It bounces back, and it will bounce you back if you're willing to be bounced where you need to be bounced, which is on the direct path that your destiny is lined up for. So stay encouraged, get back into it. The market is forever changing, and let me tell you something, this is the good thing, especially when you don't look your age. What the good thing is that 40 is the new 25, okay? I'm telling you, 40 is the new 25. 40 is fly again, and there's now a market for aging. There's a market space for aging in the arts, and I think that's such a super dope time. So no, be encouraged. You know, the feeling of being stuck is most of the times it's just a feeling, and it's a feeling because of a lack of direction, which more than likely means a lack of planning. The feeling of being stuck to me is often fictitious because I believe that once you start planning and plotting, you will start digging yourself out of that quicksand. I know it to be true. So I'm excited to see exactly what's going to be next for you. Make sure to keep us posted on that. And I think it's time that we go ahead and go on down memory lane and get into our next music break. Y'all ready? Come on. Listen, I don't know who Monifa, Kenya, and Stephanie, better known as the group Moke and Steph, was mad at in 1995 when they dropped this bomb song called He's Mine off their single As Is, which, by the way, rose to number 7 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 charts. But they was mad, and we're going to get into that thing right now on our next music break with Moke and Steph's He's Mine.
He's mine.
They said you may have had them once, but I got them all the time. They meant that thing. Come on, y'all. Let's jump right back into our next voicemail.
How you doing, Brother Smith?
Hey.
I got a question. How do you keep it going? How do you keep pushing yourself when you don't have any support from your friends, your family, when pretty much everyone is doubting you and telling you not to make this big move, to not to follow your dreams, or just kind of put it on the back burner? You know, how do you push past that? Because I want to move, I want to pursue my dreams and follow that. So how do you keep going? How do you find that energy, that push, that drive to keep going? Because I'm struggling. Thank you.
The caller wants to know, how do you push past being a dreamer, being gifted, wanting more even out of yourself, but cannot find anywhere around you in the circumference of your life space anybody who believes in what you're doing? It's the general question of this. What do I do when nobody believes in me? Especially the people that you would think would be the ones there to believe in you. And so he's asking me, well, how do I deal with that? How do I push past that? Well, for me, I don't even consider that. You know, first of all, I have to take back the power of giving to the public or to family or to friends or whoever that their understanding, their stamp on, their approval of what I'm doing, what I'm called to do, what business move I'm making, what city I want to go to. The idea that you would think that your opinion was that valuable, validated, and weighty to the point that you were going to be able to cause me to be stuck and to be still and be indecisive. Either I've done a poor job of not informing you that you never ever had or will have or could ever pray for or could ever rub on the best genie of them all's belly to make your last wish, that you would ever be in a position where you could do that to me. Apparently, I haven't informed you of that. So now I want to make the re-announcement that I understand my life path. I know the direction that I'm taking. I've been planning this since 2017. I've been in my prayer closet about it. I've been investing in it. I've been saving up money for it. And so therefore, you can't invite the opinions of others to dictate. Secondly, I'm I grew up very independent. So I've always been a very independent kind of guy. It's not always the best thing because you do need help sometimes. We all do. We all need encouragement sometimes. Your request is not a inhumane request. We all want to know that somebody believes in the things that we believe in about us. Ain't it a dope feeling? It's dope, right? And it's disappointing when it doesn't come from the sector that you thought it should. So one way I deal with that is I limit where I place authority of approval for what I'm doing on. I really care about what my mom thinks about my destiny, about my plan, about some of my business ventures. I will implore her opinion often. I have a couple other friends, but I just don't lay myself out for the opinion of others, because you start hearing these different scenarios and circumstances and people telling you their story of failure and what they're speaking through their fear and what they won't challenge themselves to do. And they're projecting that on you. And so you look up and you all confused. You had your whole U-Haul was packed up, ready to move to wherever your next location is or what have you. And now you unloading stuff off the truck because you believe in what somebody across town or on Facebook had to say about not whether they, no. So one, I don't even really acknowledge those things because I know that they don't have the blueprint. They don't know the path that I'm taking. And then for two is I don't empower too many people to have a say to have a say as to like when it comes to my destiny and my gift. You just don't, you can't allow yourself to be placed into the hands of people, because often the hands that we think should catch us usually are the hands that let us fall right through the cracks. And then that whole disappointment cycle starts, and we don't need that, because you're on the way somewhere. You don't have time for disappointment, and you don't have time for any more stunted growth. So I challenge you and I give you a new charge, and you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right, and I'm looking forward to having a good report. So let's go into our next voicemail. Who else is calling the brother today?
I am a manager, and I have an assistant manager who is not comfortable with her authority in being the assistant manager. My question to you is, how do I find ways, creative ways, to push her into her role, into her authority, and so that she can, not so much worried about whether she's friends with co-workers or that, she don't want to be the bad person. So how do I find creative ways to push her into her authority and just make her comfortable with it? Because it's not always going to be comfortable, but I just have to, I don't want to necessarily feel like I'm breaking her, but I do want to push her in that way. How do I find creative ways to push her into her authority? So she can be more comfortable with that, because as a manager, you can't do everything. And so I need her to be able to be comfortable with that, because when she's working, she's absolutely great, but she's more of a behind-the-scenes great type of worker. But in some cases, I can't always be in the front, so when I'm away, then she needs to be able to step into my shoes. So I definitely need your help, Smith. Help me out.
So basically, the caller was asking, she's a manager at a business and has an assistant manager. The assistant manager is really dope at doing behind-the-scenes stuff. You know what I'm saying? Is a good assist to the manager. But when it comes time for taking on that management hat, is some struggles there. Especially because of two things. One is because of her timidness, it sounds like, and also because of friendships. It's very difficult when people are friends with people on staff and then one of them goes into the management role, because now you have to be the enforcer. So she's having a hard time with that. So the caller wanted to know, what would I suggest on this? Well, unfortunately, let's say this. She's dealing with the two F's, fear and friends. Those two things will sink you in the workplace. If you are scared to work in your position, whether that's in management, whether you the fry cooker, you scared to drop the fries because you scared to get popped by the grease, you're not gonna be able to benefit us here. And also, if you're dealing with somebody who is really encumbered by their friendships and they don't know how to separate those two from that 9 o'clock to that 5 o'clock, that's also a very difficult situation. So with all of that being said, apparently there's some things in here within her that have made her valuable to the point where she is a good assistant manager. So a couple of things that you can do, creative ways on helping her get to where she needs to go, because like you said, you can't be everywhere. You're going to have somebody who can step in your shoes. So start by letting her lead some of the meetings. Some of your staff meetings, let her lead those meetings. But first, you have to show her how a meeting is run, the flow of the meeting. Does she start talking about this topic and ends with this topic? I don't know how your meetings flow, but empower her with the flow of the meeting so that when she stands before the people, there is no difference. People are used to hearing the information the same way as it was when it was coming from you, and it will be a good flow for her. I think that's a good way. Another good thing to do is delegate. The more tasks that you give her, the more familiar that she's going to be with the job. And she's also going to get more familiar with decision making. And so that's what we need here with someone on the management team. You need somebody that can make decisions. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody that can make decisions. So you also may want to do some role playing. Bring her in that office, you know what I mean? Do, 30 minutes a couple of times a week and say, how would you handle this particular situation? Let's say you walk in the office and you catch one of the coworkers who happens to be one of your friends asleep on the clock. What's your next step? Listen to her response and then role play with her, and if that's not the correct response, give the guidance in the tutorial on how that should be handled. More scenarios like that will prep the logic on what to do, and will ease some of that fear, and will increase and invite comfort when it's time to make these decisions in real life. Lastly, I will give some graduated levels of tasks that will require her to either guide or reprimand the staff. You got to get used to telling people what to do as a leader, because that's your role. If you're in the front of the line, we need to know what we're doing. And so I think if you start giving her some small little tasks where, hey, you have to tell such and such that the schedules have been changed. You know what I'm saying? Something lighthearted like that. And then see if she can handle that. And then the next time, you know what I'm saying, you do the next one. And I think if you do that, by the time you look up, first of all, she's going to get tired of these little tasks. She's going to probably start being able to see the stuff that needs to be done before you have to tell her. And I think that's a good way to grow your leaders too. So I applaud you for calling in, wanting to even grow your leader. But I will say this to you though too. You yourself, you have to have a timeline on this growth and development period. She's going to have to rise to the occasion because, like you said, you're in that position, you're making that coin for a reason. And it's because we trust you to be able to do the job and not a part of the job. So you also need to let yourself have a time frame. You say, I'm going to give some development time here, but if I don't see any growth, then I may have to transition my own staff as well to make sure that you have what you need. So cheerio. Hope that all works out. As a journalism student and always having a love for communication and news, I've always had a love for Soledad O'Brien. So today, at So What We Not Gonna Do podcast, sends our condolences to her. After losing her mom, she just tweeted moments ago that she lost her mom, Estella O'Brien, just 40 days after losing her father as well. So everybody, we send her our love, light, and our prayers to her. Soledad, we got you lifted up in our prayers. In some celebrity news, these Kardashians are a trip, ain't they? So I saw a tweet where this Twitter user named K_Abner_ tweeted, so I realized I have to work 20 hours in order to afford @Khloe Kardashian's jeans, and I'm in love with them. Catch me picking up extra shifts. And Khloe Kardashian tweets back, "Aw, this is so cute. I'm so happy you enjoy them." In other words, yeah, you go do that, sis. You go get them 20 hours. You go take that bus to work for them 20 hours so you can run me my coins. And I'll send you these jeans that cost about $4 to get made overseas. And thank you for your business. So in recent news, remember I was telling you guys about the Sunday empowerment experiences that Kanye West was doing? Everybody dubbed it as a church, and it went all over the internet as to why he and Kim had no business doing this, that, or the other. Remember that, how we talked about that and how amazing I thought the idea was that they were taking these R&B and inspirational songs and adding a gospel element to it by using a 60-member choir of LA's best of the best singers who are performing at various venues across private venues across LA. And these in particular empowerment sessions, people are saying to be leaving inspired. They're leaving empowered. There's no preach word. Mostly singing, but there was something that did go down a little different. This week, I saw online that DMX, yes, that DMX, was invited to this. Now, this particular Kanye, they're calling it Kanye Sunday service is what they're calling it. Even Kim will tweet about it and call it Sunday service as well. It draws a lot of celebrities. I've heard that Paris Jackson has been there, DMX has been there, the Kardashians are there often, and other celebrities who enjoy this type of musical experience have been seen at Kanye's event. So this particular week, DMX. Now we all know that DMX, he has a littered past, but one of the pieces of his past, and as well as his present, he's always been a man of God. He's always been a man that has put God in a position of power. And so he was at this Sunday, the Sunday service, and of course, who else was going to lead the Sunday prayer but DMX? Check this out.
Let us pray. Father God, thank you for making me righteous and accepted through the blood of Jesus. Because of that, I am blessed and highly favored by you. I am the object of your affection. Your favor surrounds me as a shield, and the first thing that people come in contact with is my favorite shield. Thank you that I have favor with you and man today. All day long, people go out of their way to bless and to help me. I have favor with everyone I deal with today. Doors that were once closed are now open for me. I receive preferential treatment. I have special privileges. I am God's favored child. No good thing will he withhold from me. Because of God's favor, my enemies cannot triumph over me. I have supernatural increase and promotion. I declare restoration of everything the devil has stolen from me.
I am quite sure somebody is gonna take that, the remix god, or somebody's gonna remix that and is gonna make a song out of that, because that's good material. But yeah, these Kanye Sunday services have been going very, very well. They've been making their way around the internet. You know, I know particularly, I'm quite certain that it's a no cell phone environment. So I'm sure that the videos that are being put out are of course, from within the camp. I'm sure they're so tight streamed on the media there, but they do a really good job at putting out, like, did you guys see them singing on the plane? A whole soul plane moment, you guys. It was magical. Check this out. Now, mind you, this is on a plane going to one of their performance locations. Kanye chartered this. Hey. Whole plane trunk, y'all. Kanye sitting in the front looking back in amazement. Band members rocking. People hands rocking. Choir director back there giving direction while you traveling to your gig to go make your coin. That's the life. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on that, bringing you more about that. Hopefully one of these times I can go enjoy so I can report live. I can give you a good hands-on experience as to how exactly it's going down. So come on, let's get into our next voicemail.
Yo, what up?
What up?
Real life situation.
All right.
I had a business venture, or not even a venture, business deal or arrangement or agreement with two owners of an entertainment venue. The two owners fell out. For whatever reason, it's beyond me. I have no knowledge of what happened. The owner, one particular owner, brought me in to have this joint venture happen weekly. Now, my question is, it's business. Do I stay loyal to the owner who brought me in and introduced me to the situation, or do I continue as a business decision to keep my event at this venue, even though the owner who brought me on or introduced me to the situation as being a possibility has moved on? Now, mind you, I don't have a friendship with this particular owner outside of business, so there's no loyalty as a friend or knowing him for X amount of years involved. It's more so I know him just on a humbug from somebody else knowing him, and he introduced me to the situation as him being part of that venue.
Well,
so what do I do? Do I stay true to the fact that he's the one who introduced me, so I move on and find something else as another venue? Or do I continue in the business decision to use the venue that I was already involved with? Let me know. What's your thoughts?
Well, this question is very layered because it depends on a couple of different codes. It depends on moral code. It depends on ethical code. It can even, depending on who answering it, depend on street code. You know what I'm saying? But where I want to start at is this. Business is not personal. And that's the part right there that I think people in business, they mix business with personal too easily. And you knocking yourself off your rocker if you cannot differentiate the difference between business and personal. You, my friend, are not ready for business. You're just not. So that happens a lot of times in business. And for me, that's what it is. I would need to know, for starters, what did they fall out about? That, for me, will be my beginning point to decide what I'm gonna do next. If y'all fell out because, let's say, the other owner found out that the other owner was dating his sister and he didn't like that. So they fell out to the point where the business had to be halved and shut down or whatever, one moving on. And that happened to be the one that brought you on. So you, being the caller, you're doing an event there. Let's say you're making $10,000 a month. Your dreams, your prayers have been answered. Your business plan has been accepted. You're doing your thing, growing in your brand there in that city. And now, because someone you had a business arrangement with fell out with their business partner for something in the similarities of dating their sister and they didn't like it. So now you're about to cut yourself out of your monthly wages and salaries to yourself over a community disagreement that went awry. Never. I'm never gonna do that. So I need to know what was the reason why they disconnected. Was it because of that? Was one of them embezzling? Was it the one that still left here at the venue? Was he said to be embezzling? Did somebody use somebody's social security number to get a loan? Like, I need to know what happened there. And then for me, I can start with my decision making. So to answer your question in a very direct way, no, I don't think that just because the person that brought you on and now he's no longer cool with, for whatever reason, with the person who you guys were in partnership with, because again, let's be honest, you all are in partnership, you know that. And so, no, do I think that automatically means you're supposed to pack up and go and now you got to find another venue and you got to find new funding and new sponsors and vendors and a new liquor license and all? No, I don't. I do not. And I think anybody that suggests that, they need to take off their personal lens that they're looking through and realize that business must go on past quarreling. Business must go on past quarreling. It has to. So that's what I would say do. Now, again, I'm going to start with the reason for the fallout. If that reason for that fallout is something that I think could come down and hit me after a while, whether that's they was telling something, whatever that could be, I can run down a list. But if I think that if you did it to them, you'll do it to me, and I can't deal with you doing that to me because that might end up landing me in prison, then I would have to probably bounce at that point. But that's only if and then, so you got to weigh it out. But I would say definitely start there. This has been so fun, you guys. I got time to take one more question. Come on, let's see who else called.
So, my question is, what do you do when you show up to a bar and you see the new person that you're talking to with the person that you used to talk to? Help me out.
I don't know if you guys could fully hear that, but what the caller was asking was, what do you do when you show up at a bar and the new person that you're talking to is at the bar talking to the old person you used to talk to? What do you do? Well, it depends on who you are and what you've been doing. Because if you've been good, that will be a perfect opportunity for you to roll up on set and see what's going on. So, hey, what are you ladies talking about? What are you ladies talking about? How did you guys meet? That way you don't have to get the story half and half. Go ahead, just approach and get the full story. But if you've been showing out, then my brother, you need to back out of the club. Like that meme with Homer Simpson when he went into the bush and disappeared until we saw the last tip of his nose disappear. You need to back out of the club like that because it's a setup. And you gonna be the casualty. duck, duck, and brother, you gonna be the goose. So that's what it's gonna end up being. But yeah, if you ain't been, doing nothing that you ain't supposed to be doing, then I would go full approach, and I would have good confidence and say, hey, and with nonverbal communication too, you should stand on the side of the one that you're currently dating, and you guys should be a team against nonsense. I'll say that, and then just get to the bottom line of it and figure it all out right then, right there. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. My podcast, I'm loving it. We'll be back after this commercial break. So listen, when you've been working hard all week, when the weekend comes, you want to let your hair down, and I ain't mad at you. And not only am I not mad at you, I got you covered across the entire weekend with some really dope stuff that's going on around LA, starting with on Friday. Millennium Age Hosts is a company. They're putting on this particular event. It's going to be held downtown LA. It's a silent party, y'all. The music that they're going to be playing is the 90s, 2000s, and now. So basically, you're going to go in. There's going to be 3 DJs who's going to be playing these different types of music. You'll be given a pair of headphones if you pay for them, for the rental of them. And you'll get these headphones, and there'll be 3 different stations. Each DJ who's going to be rocking it right there. You're going to hear them in your ears. I guess the motivation is, let's have a really dope party where you can connect. Y'all can get on the same channel and wavelength with your friends. But then you can also take off your headphones and actually have some conversations with somebody. So I've heard about these parties before. I've never been to one of my own or, experienced one yet. But this sounds really interesting. It's going to be held downtown LA at District 7 Bar Lounge at 555 West 7th Street. That's down in Los Angeles, California, 90014. Now, it starts on Friday at 9:30 p.m. and ends at 2 in the morning, so they are ready to get crunk. So the tickets are over on Eventbrite. You can look. They were free had you gotten the early bird tickets. If you're free and you can get there by 10:30, then you could have got in free. But if not, the tickets are not too bad. Right now, the general admission left is $15, and the very limited quantity of their next tier, which includes headsets, is $20. So going on over to Eventbrite, see if it's something y'all looking at. But I also got you covered on Saturday. Now, y'all know I had to fill y'all in about this. Y'all remember a couple of weeks ago when I was ranting and raving about my experience over at Station 1640 for Chicago versus Everybody Party. Y'all, I told y'all I had an amazing, amazing time. The folks at Millennium Age, they do it again in partnership with Demi Lobo. They put on this event that is a very Midwest Chicago vibe, y'all. Now, what I told you before is that here in LA, most of the venues that play music, they're playing very West Coast music. That's your Chris Brown, DJ Mustard, Cardi B, that sound that's on the radio is what I'm saying. But what about the music, the hardcore? What about the Biggie and the Mary J. Blige and the Faith Evans, The Way You Used to Love Me, and the Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares? Like, it's not a lot of places that have that. And so that is crushed here. This party is so crunk, y'all. I'm telling you, it's a Black Love Fest. And they had food last time. Y'all know I love wings. They had wings with the famous mild sauce that's so popular from Chicago. And they was giving them away to the first 100 people, y'all. They even had free mimosas earlier in the day. You guys, it's such an amazing thing. It's going to be going on this Saturday, 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Chicago versus Everybody is going to be held at Station 1640, located at 1640 North Cahuenga Boulevard. All you got to do is register. If you register and you get there by 2 o'clock p.m., then the event is free. After that, you're going to have to figure some things out. It's going to probably be about $20 if you do that. And it's almost sold out. So you need to go over there to Eventbrite, of course. Got you together and go get you a ticket and join me there. I'll see you on the dance floor. And on Sunday, if you're looking for some more brunch options, let me tell you, I've been hearing about this one right here. It's called Brunch 2 Bomb Brunch and Day Party. It's held downtown LA at Free Play, located at 3939 South Figueroa Street. Brunch 2 Bomb is a rapidly growing monthly 90s R&B brunch, and they aim it towards professional millennials who are looking for like a Sunday fun day experience and that like Hollywood type vibe. So it's going to have DJs, and this particular one is going to to be themed the Waiting to Exhale edition. So that is one of my favorite soundtracks. So that could be a good alternative to look into for Sunday. The tickets have gone very quickly. They did start at $5 for the early bird sales. Those are done. The general admissions were $10. Those are sold out. And so now the same day tickets at the door are going to be $15. Now that does not guarantee seating. And you also have to buy your food there or your drinks there at the venue on top of that. So I think for the experience, I've been hearing a lot about it being a very vibey, black R&B type brunch, you know, the kind of party where you're going table to table, shuffling, you know, dancing with people that you don't know because y'all having, you know, you're tipsy over mimosas or something like that. So, hey, it's just another option for you. Whatever you decide to do something with your weekend, you guys. You work too hard to not have balance. Make sure you enjoy. So this week across LA, we were struck by a very interesting migration of butterflies, painted ladies, you know, the orange and black butterflies. I mean, it's so abnormal that we see them we don't see them that often, right? And then to see them in clusters, it sent Twitter awry, and everybody was tweeting about the monarch migration. So what goes on is that these butterflies, they go in patches. They leave Mexico and they come north. They fly north through California, through Southern California, through Los Angeles, and they make their way finally landing up in the Bay area. Now, these little tiny things, that, mind you, they started off once as caterpillars. They matured into butterflies, these beautiful monarchs, right? They're flying at 25 miles per hour, fluttering through town in clusters, low too. You know, and we're just admiring their beauty. One, because they're abnormal. We don't see them as often. They're quite rare. We see something new, and it's like, it's this new thing in our life. We're used to seeing flies and gnats and whatnot, and now we got these bomb butterflies, and we're enamored by that, right? So when I did some more research, I found out that as magical as the story is, about the hardworking nature that this little creature is doing to fly miles and miles and miles at 25 miles per hour on a migration following this crowd to the north, to the Bay. That story sounds quite sickening, doesn't it? But the reality is the life expectancy of the painted ladies is only 2 to 4 weeks. It reminded me of the stars, something I learned in biology class years and years ago about how a star that when we look up at the sky, you know they're not shaped in the 5-point star that we're all wearing around the chains around our necks and the earrings, right? They're like little planets. They're celestial balls of gas. And when we're sitting on our patios, twiddling our feet, having that glass of whatever you decide to drink at that time of day, and you're looking up at that sky, you're seeing that star up there. The reality is, scientifically, that light that we're enjoying was sent millions of light years away, meaning the light is not being sent as we see it. So sitting on that, and then sitting on the notion about the monarchs, I was thinking over the weekend, isn't it interesting how sometimes we praise things for their beauty and allow all kind of things to just flutter and flicker in our life, and we don't realize that some of those things that are fluttering and flickering in our life are on their way to death? Those monarchs in 2 weeks, we'll never hear from them again. That star, some of those stars that we're looking at, they're literally burned out now. But we don't know it because that light, we're just now getting that light. They're dead, but we're just now getting that light. So what that resolved me back around to was just being careful with where I give my honor and where I give my praise to. Yeah, it's a different spin on the story because the monarchs are so beautiful, and I know we should often take a lighthearted spin to them because they're so cute and they're so pretty, and they are. But that's where my mind took, and that's my job, is to help give you another perspective of thinking, you know. Be careful with where we put our crowns at. because every head we putting our crowns on, it ain't a king and a queen's head. It just might look like it. So that's what I want to leave you guys with on this episode of So What We Not Gonna Do, the original 90s voicemail podcast by me, Smith. Thank you all for allowing me into your speakers and for supporting me. You can keep up with me. You ain't gotta wait to see me on Wednesdays, y'all. Y'all can keep up with me by following me all across all my digital platforms. All my social media real estate is at Smith Worldwide, you guys. You can see me on Instagram at Smith Worldwide. You can see all my friends when I'm talking about the guys. You can go get a visual to see who I'm talking about. And I talk a lot of crap on Twitter too, so I'm over there at Smith Worldwide. You can come engage with me there. Y'all, we are doing some major things, and the best is yet to come. But what else is coming even sooner is next week's episode. We're going to be right here at the same time in the same place. And this thing is going to keep getting better and better and better. And I can't wait to talk to y'all next week. Same time, same place. I'll catch y'all soon. Cheer.
When I was young and I listened to you, your voice gave me inspiration. That's when I knew that I wanted to sing, for the world was my motivation. Hey, I dedicate to you this song. This song's for you. For you. Oh, I give you my voice. I give you my voice. This song's for you. This song's for you and you and you. I dedicate. Hey, oh, I dedicate. Whoa, yeah. I dedicate to you. Hey, yeah. This song's for you. Oh, yeah. I give you my voice. I give you my voice. This song's for you. You and you and you and you. Yeah. I dedicate. Hey, yeah. Oh, I dedicate. I give you my voice. Yeah. I dedicate. Oh, yeah. I dedicate. I dedicate to you.